What's up, guys? Today we're gonna go over the most underrated anime of the season, and it's definitely The Red Ranger Becomes an Adventurer in Another World. God, that's an awful title. Why do isekais feel the need to make their titles like an entire paragraph? It was funny and cute the first time, but by now it's like I shouldn't have to read a college thesis to understand what the title of this anime is. Regardless of the title, this is a really good anime, especially if you like Power Rangers, Super Sentai, or Kamen Rider. This whole anime is like a love letter to those series.
But Ross, I thought you hated isekais and fun and becoming close with people that you love.
Hey, I told you that in confidence, but he is right. Isekais aren't really my favorite genre, but after watching this anime, I realized that they're more like ice cream. You just gotta find your favorite flavor. And it turns out my favorite flavor is this show. And it might be yours too. I'm not stating that this is the best anime of the season or the year so far. I'm just saying that not enough people are talking about this anime. With Solo Leveling and Sakamoto Days coming out this anime season, it feels like this Red Ranger Isekai has been kind of lost in the weeds, which is unfortunate because this anime has a lot of good qualities. But you want to know what also has good qualities? This YouTube channel. God, what a good segue. I'm so good at this. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe and comment down below what is your most underrated anime of this season. But enough of that self-promotion BS. Let's get on with the video. So what is this anime actually about? Well, if the title didn't give it away, it's about a Power Ranger that gets like transported into a magical realm, typical isekai stuff. But if that's all it was, I wouldn't make a video about it. The reason why I like this anime so much is because they nail the Power Ranger aspect of its premise. This doesn't feel like a ripoff or parody of the Power Rangers. This feels like the actual show. Like if you change the title, you can convince me that Saban actually put this show out there as an anime adaptation of the Power Rangers. But they would never do that because they're way too busy selling the franchise, then buying it back and then canceling it, because that just makes way too much sense. You know, why make an animated series when you can be busy selling the franchise and then buying it back for like almost double the amount? It's just smart business practice, obviously. So since we're probably not going to get anything Power Rangers for a while, this show actually fills that gap pretty well. And honestly, hot take, this show actually kind of takes the concept of Power Rangers and kind of improves on it. For example, Power Rangers is mostly a live action series, which isn't necessarily a problem, but I've always thought that Power Rangers would be better served as an animated series. And now I know I would have been right, because the Power Rangers isms in this show are so much better due to the animation. The moves and attacks and just overall look of the show looks way better here than they ever did in live action, because in live action, you are limited to what your actors can physically do. In Power Rangers, if you wanted your Red Ranger to have a punch that was on fire, you would either have to spend money on CGI or literally set him on fire, and both are really expensive, let me tell you. But since this is an anime, they don't have to deal with those types of limitations. And plus, the animation is actually like really good. I'm not saying it's like JJK levels of animation, but it does the job well enough. A lot of that has to do with the art design in this show. This show really understands the aesthetic of both Power Rangers and your average isekai. One of the things I hate about Power Rangers inspired media is that they always show the mouth for some reason, even though Power Rangers has literally never done that in their costume design. Now they might do the weird lips on the mouth guard thing, which I'm glad this show didn't do that, but they have never done like the whole like not having anything on the lower half of the helmet. These Power Ranger suits look so good that if they were real, they would be in my top 5. My only complaint with them though is that they clearly spent more time designing the Red Ranger's outfit than any of the others, but that's kind of to be expected. Now you might be saying, But Ross, what about the isekai portion of this show? You talked a lot of good things about the Power Rangers aspect, but what about the isekai? Because that's like almost half of the premise. To that, I would say, well, it's not the reason why you would want to watch this show. The main reason why you would want to watch the show is for the Power Rangers bits. Otherwise, if you're here for the isekai, it's definitely kind of weak, but I wouldn't say it gets in the way necessarily. It's more of like a little bit of flavor on top of like the Power Rangers kind of parody sandwich. Now, with that being said, the jokes that they do with the isekai portion is actually really funny for the most part. Most of the jokes boil down to like the weird powers that Power Rangers usually have not really translating well to like a magical world. Like it doesn't follow their rules necessarily. And also the most ridiculous gadgets some of the Power Rangers would use throughout the series. So if you're a Power Rangers fan, these are actually like really funny and hilarious. But if you're here for the isekai, I don't know if you'll actually get them. Like if you don't watch Power Rangers, I don't know how funny you're going to find it that he explodes every like 10 seconds. And that's always kind of the fun of an isekai, of a character not quite understanding the norms of the new world they're put in, or the characters from that world reacting to this like weird stranger that does weird things, and you know, haha, isn't that weird and strange, but in their world it's perfectly normal. That's always kind of part of the loop of isekais. The difference is in this show, it's based off of a pre-existing property, or at least inspired by, and we really haven't had many of those, and I hope we get more of them. And that one doesn't count. We don't talk about that one. It'd be really cool if we got more of these, like the time that Indiana Jones got isekai'd into another world where instead of an archaeologist, he's a paleontologist. I don't know. I that's just off the top of my head. But I think more franchises would benefit from a like anime isekai. I really do believe the idea of isekai'ing these different IP is really good, not just for those franchises, but also for the isekai genre in general. This is a really good gateway of fans of these IP to actually watch an isekai. For me, anyone that knows me, I'm not a big fan of isekais. It's probably my least favorite anime genre, but because of this show, I'm more willing to actually check one out. The only one I consistently watch is ReZero. Otherwise, I kind of just brush them off. But if we got more isekais like this, I think more people would be willing to try them out. Unfortunately for this show, this came out in a very stacked season. Like we have Solo Leveling and Sakamoto Days that's kind of just taking up all the air in the anime space, where if this came out like last season, the only big anime that it would have to really go against is Dandadan, which Dandadan's great, but like the rest of last season was pretty empty. So if it came out last season, I think we would have heard more people talking about it. The anime community tends to only focus on like 1 to 2 anime per season because there's only so much time to talk about like the third best anime, because usually the third best anime isn't that good. But in this season, the third best anime is this anime, and it's actually really good, and I wish more people would talk about it. It also probably doesn't help that the Go-Go Loser Ranger anime was so underwhelming, and people might be associating that anime with this one because they're both Power Ranger adjacent, which is extremely unfortunate because this anime actually delivers on its cool premise, while Go-Go Loser Ranger kind of fell apart after the first episode. At the end of the day, I can't recommend this anime enough, especially if you're a Power Rangers fan. And if you're an isekai fan, there's enough there that I think you'll still enjoy it. Oh, one last thing before I go. I actually think the dub for this anime is really good. And if you can wait an extra couple weeks, this is well worth watching in dub because of the voice acting. But that's all I have for you guys today. Don't forget to subscribe, comment down below what's your most underrated anime of the season, hit that noty bell, smash that like button, and see y'all next time, my fellow shinobi.